present here. Thank you, colleagues. Georgi Antsev is the head of the company. I would like to share the model that we have worked out for the advanced development of our company in the Far East. We have endorsed this program, and one of our subsidiaries, representatives of our subsidiaries, is present here. This company worked with the military equipment, never had anything to do with what we're doing right now. In analyzing this region, I'd like to say that we have the same results as far as the analysis is concerned with our foreign partners. We have worked out a mutually beneficial relationship with the companies of between different companies, between a company oriented at the military complex and our company. So we have analyzed the market in the Far East, and the market, the current market, the local market, is the ocean and everything connected with the ocean, fisheries, oil and gas, Rosgidromet in the Ministry of Nature and Environment. So we were looking at the possible equipment that would be required for such a market, and we analyzed the national technological platforms which were proposed by the Ministry for Economic Development. Unfortunately, the model has not been realized financially speaking, but it allowed us to formulate our strategy. So we have become the so-called coordinator of the platform, which we called developing the marine environment. When we came to the Far East and started analyzing the possible trends for development, and actually we were thinking of creating this platform when Mikloszewski was still the rector of the head of the institute, and we started working out a model of submarine robot technology and the creation of a system, and we have formed a cluster on the submarine robot technology. Amongst the pros, creating a science intensive product is very difficult. A company which is aiming at the research and survey of the marine environment needs a lot of statistical data and measurements. And then the creation of a mathematical model, and then the transition to the introduction of new technology. This process has to be launched, and here in the Far East we have created an educational platform which is quite advantageous for the development of our industry. And on the slide you see quite a number of enterprises who have entered the above mentioned cluster. What I'd like to note in respect of development in this area. Talking about resources, one of the challenges is the fact that we lack qualified human resources, a lack of qualified tutors. We had to resort to experts from Moscow and St. Petersburg. We have transferred the scientific research team from other cities, and we have chosen the strategic development model in the Far East, which embraces the experience attained in the central regions of the Russian Federation. Quite actively, we have started working with Rosrybalovstva, the fishery department of Russia, and the representatives of this agency have pointed out that they are actively participating in our projects, not only in building the vessels, but also in supplying it with the modern technology and modern equipment. We have been able to form an ideology which is suitable and required by Rosrybalovstva, the fishery department, from the point of view of satiating the industry with modern equipment. In analyzing the trends of our development, we are quite actively working with Rosneft and Gazprom on the issues of safety of the pipelines, oil and gas platform, equipment, and in providing a security for the equipment. We have to monitor not only the we cannot only restrict ourselves to traditional monitoring from space. We have been able to unify all our experience and have created a center of competencies. Those who had not yet been able to visit the Agat Center will be able to see for themselves our achievements in the creation of robot technology. We're working both for state and private enterprises in different formats. We have been conducting training for students on the basis of this institute and this university. And as was quite correctly pointed out at the plenary meeting by the president, who asked us what we will evidence here in 100 years' time. We will probably evidence a transportation hub, which is still not evident and not existent in such an important and economically viable region, which would be able to embrace all the modern technology. Unfortunately, so far, we haven't reached that aim. So our target is to transfer the necessary competencies to this particular region in order to create this modern hub. And of course, the issue of assembly, the only thing we're doing here is we are aiming at the assembly of equipment. We should be aiming at the creation, production, manufacturing of such equipment. We have all the necessary resources here in the Academy of Sciences of Vladivostok. It's not very easy quite now to establish the necessary relationship with the Ministry for Education, with the Academy of Sciences of the Russian Federation, but nevertheless, we have launched a number of projects which are subsidized by the Ministry of Education in the sphere of production of marine equipment. So a number of interesting aspects and what we are doing. I'm going to demonstrate them on the following slide. This is hydrolocation and seismo equipment. As you see here, we have an interesting robot here for geophysical survey, which is represented and is being tested in the Far East and in the North, and has been created within our scientific center. And which is highly important both for the oil and gas industry. For the successful geological survey. This is one of the complexes for geological survey. In the form of a robot, which lays the submarine cables in order to research the oil and gas reserves on the ocean bed. There are other examples of such equipment which is being produced on the basis of our scientific center in the Far East. Within the TAD, we are planning to participate actively. We are looking for partners in the sphere of equipment production, in the sphere of monitoring the ocean, monitoring the ocean from and using aviation equipment. In our center of competencies, we represent the technology in the area of hydrological bios. And it's no secret that the U.S. have approximately 8,000 bios in the ocean, and we are lagging behind. Only 4 such bios are present in the Arctic, a few in the Black Sea, close to the territory of the Black Sea, the bios which can monitor the temperature of the ocean, the temperature of the water, and thank you very much. I think that this is a very important aspect of deep processing of a highly scientific, capacious product. Yes, that was.